Right now on Denver 7 News at 6 a.m. Putting the high in Mile High. For the first time in years, tens of thousands will gather to celebrate cannabis.
You could see a massive cloud of smoke hanging over the Civic Center Park today for 420. I'm Denver 7's Jessica Crawford. The confusing message that the city sent over the Mile High 420 festival and how they're trying to clear it up.
Plus, fire danger remains high today after 4 fires spark in Boulder County in one day. What we're learning about the woman facing charges after one of them.
Plus, paying it forward and planting it forward.
You just throw it out somewhere and it starts growing.
The young Coloradan working to recycle all the junk mail we get.
Just in time for Earth Day, which is Friday, so great idea.
I'm surprised we still get so much junk mail in this digital age.
True,
It's pretty wild. Yeah.
But you don't have to throw it away. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Brady.
And I'm Brian Sanders. We're in store for another really nice spring day. A lot of sunshine out there, Lisa.
It was gorgeous yesterday. It was warm too, near 80 degrees yesterday. Today we're starting off with more cloud cover in the mountains. We picked up a little bit of snow overnight over some of those high mountain passes. The roads will be wet. That all due to a weak cold front. So today's going to be just a touch cooler than what we saw yesterday. Still mild though. I mean, we're typically in the low to mid 60s for highs here in mid to late April. We'll be there by about 12 o'clock by lunch, and then we'll hit highs right around 70 this afternoon. So it's going to be another very mild day today. A little breezy. It was not super annoying yesterday, but the winds did kick up a touch, and today we're going to see highs right around 70 and wind speeds between about 15 to near 25 miles per hour. It'll be warm though, again, still above normal. Statewide, pretty toasty down across parts of southern Colorado, and that's where fire danger is going to be a lot higher today. I bet though, Jason, by Friday, we're talking red flag warnings over all of eastern Colorado. Details on that coming up.
And we have a very serious crash up to the north. It involves a motorcyclist on 120th, just east of I-25, and it remains closed down between Grant and Washington because the crash happened at Pennsylvania. These were early pictures from the Thornton Police Department. Let me take you right now to Air Tracker 7, and after the crash happened, there's the motorcycle right there, and the motorcycle rider actually lifted up his arm, according to one of our viewers who saw that was just arrived after the crash happened. You see the couple other vehicles involved here, and we can see that we have this section of 120th east of I-25 closed down. To get around it, we're going to use Grant, and we're going to also use Washington Street, either to 124th and go around the curve to come back, or you're going to go down to Malley Drive right before you get to Community Center to get around it too. But you are going to see those delays for some time, as Thornton Police say they could be out there for several hours.
Well, today is April 20th, known, of course, as 420, the holiday where we celebrate cannabis. This morning, we're taking a 360 in-depth look at the marijuana industry in our state. Denver is looking to make it more equitable, so we're talking to a woman who's benefiting from that process.
Also, marijuana has brought plenty of another type of green to our state, and that's money. That could be changing, though. We're diving into a new report showing sales aren't quite as strong as they used to be. Meanwhile, Denver's big pot party is back. Tens of thousands of people are expected to show up to Civic Center Park today for the Mile High 420 Festival, but the event is already causing controversy at City Hall.
Yeah, let's bring in Denver 7's Jessica Crawford. And Jessica, this controversy started over a social media post.
That's right. That post started by saying "Sup Denverites" and went on to say "Don't roll up without a ticket." Here's a look at that post, and the city posted that message to Twitter and Facebook on Monday. It appeared to promote the Mile High 420 festival happening at Civic Center Park. That's where we are today. Some called that post cringeworthy. The post, which has since been deleted, had the call to action of fighting the stigma surrounding marijuana use. To give some context, using marijuana in public is still illegal here in Colorado, so the city's confusing messaging did spark some controversy on social media.
We definitely realized pretty quickly that we were inadvertently stirring up some controversy from the city side that we did not intend to do. We intentionally do post things that may not sound government-y, in a traditional way. But the intent of yesterday's post was really to start to acknowledge the obviously large event that's happening essentially right outside of our doorstep at Civic Center Park, and to really leverage that opportunity to remind people that there are safe, responsible ways to enjoy 420.
Denver police did put out an alert overnight reminding you not to smoke at the Pot Festival, but in years past they've had to look the other way because there's just so much smoking going on, and you can see a cloud coming up in this time lapse. And organizers expect this event to be a very popular one. They're expecting anywhere between 30,000 and 50,000 people to show up here. Also, rappers Big Boy, Lil Jon, Talib Kweli are expected here as well as TV show host Montel Williams, and the tickets are free. You do have to go on eventbrite.com in order to get them. Live from Denver, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Yeah, hard to keep track of that many people out there. Thank you, Jessica. One of the festival's organizers is working to create more diversity in our marijuana industry. Ashley Chubin is Chief Operating Officer for Fly High Cannabis Delivery in Aurora and Denver.
As a woman in the industry, you get to sit at the big boys table, and that has been a really exciting part of it. I've been in the industry for going on 8 years now. And it's awesome to see that women do have a voice and a place in cannabis. I think, men do a great job, but women grow things too. So growing the business is awesome. And I would say for social equity, it's amazing that Denver, especially as one of the biggest cities, has come through saying, we want to give a chance to minority.
Yeah, last year, Denver reserved any new marijuana business licenses for social equity applicants specifically till 2027. The state defines a social equity applicant as someone who has prior marijuana convictions or members of communities that were targeted by the war on drugs.
While Colorado is selling more than $5 million in marijuana products each day, sales are actually falling. In February, sales were about $145 million, which of course is a big number, but it's down about $20 million from February of last year. In fact, sales have fallen every month but one over the last year, possibly because more states are legalizing marijuana.
New Jersey becomes the next one to legalize it on Thursday. The group tasked with monitoring changes for the Aurora Police and Fire Departments is hearing from the public for the first time. IntegraSure held a town hall yesterday where people could make comments and ask questions in person or virtually. It was clear a lot of people who were at that meeting want change in Aurora Police. You can get more information about getting involved at thedenverchannel.com.
Well, today, April 20th, we're remembering the lives lost on one of the darkest days in Colorado history. It has been 23 years now since the Columbine High School shooting. 12 students and 1 teacher were killed. Classes are canceled today, and the community has committed to paying respect to those lost by making it a day of service, and it's encouraging others to join in.
Once you're a rebel for life. And I think that this is such a clear depiction of what that means to be a rebel in service and in action and in just the breadth of impact that we're able to have.
Engage in acts of kindness, in acts of love, in acts of service towards others, so that when we remember our 13, we do it in a way where we are putting kindness and goodness out into the world.
Yeah, that message has certainly spread. Last year, there were 60 projects in 6 different states and 10 different countries. You can learn more and get involved on the website columbineserves.org.
Barry Morphew is a free man, at least for now. A judge granted prosecutors' request to dismiss Morphew's murder charges without prejudice, which means he could be charged again in the future. Morphew was charged in the murder of his wife, Suzanne Morphew. She disappeared on Mother's Day in 2020 from their home in Chaffee County. Her body has never been found, which has made things tricky for prosecutors. Now, prosecutors say they do believe they know where her body is, but it's currently buried by about 50 feet of snow.
Well, as Lisa mentioned, it will be warm, dry, and breezy once again today, which is a dangerous mixture for wildfires. We know we had 4 spark in Boulder County alone just yesterday. We mapped out where those all happened, all in the span of just a few hours. One was south of the city off Flagstaff Road. Fortunately, it was no more than a quarter acre. A tree ignited near Lyons, where firefighters were still mopping up the 37E fire that prompted evacuations from last Friday. There was a grass fire on Oxford Road that burned a shed. It was accidentally started by a contractor working in the area. And then the sheriff's office says a woman will be charged in connection with the fourth fire that prompted evacuations in a neighborhood in Gun Barrel, where the flames came very close to homes there. Denver 7's Veronica ACOSTA is live right next to where first responders had to go door to door to get people out. What do we know about the suspect?
So the Tally Ho fire itself, it burned right here behind me. You can see just how close it got to those homes that you just mentioned, Brian. As for that woman who's linked to the fire, we know that she lives in the area and those charges are still pending. Now, this is a feeling Boulder County knows all too well, having to leave their homes in that blink of an eye because of a nearby fire. Go ahead and take a look at this video. This was taken by Air Tracker 7. You can see in this video just how close those flames got to some of these homes. Now, it's because of that those first responders had to go door to door in this neighborhood next to the fire, letting those people know they had to leave as soon as possible. Of course, as you can probably imagine, it wasn't all the hard work of those fire crews. The Daily Camera reported families in this neighborhood. They stepped up to help in any way they could, some turning on their sprinklers to make sure they could wet down some of those fuels just in case those flames got even closer to their front doors, to their homes. Others hooked up their garden hoses. They tried their hand at wetting down the flames. Now, the fire itself, it grew to just under 10 acres in size. The good news is fire crews got a handle on it very quickly. They were able to identify the origin as well as the cause of it. County officials say cost of damage is estimated to be between $5,000 and $10,000. Now, the other piece of good news this morning, no injuries were reported and no structures were lost. So again, another good piece of information, all due to those crews and of course those neighbors who put in so much work to put an end to that fire yesterday. We're live in Boulder County. I'm Veronica ACOSTA, Denver 7.
With that burn scar right along the fence line. And Lisa, I mean, literally every time the wind blows, there's a worry of a wildfire, and that danger is still high today.
Yeah, and while yesterday it wasn't extremely windy, it was breezy, and it doesn't take much. And today we're going to see wind speeds gusting upwards of around 20 to about 25 miles per hour here along the Front Range and across the metro area. It is going to be windier up to the northeast, and that's where we're seeing more red flag warnings today. We'll take a closer look at the fire danger and just how hot it's going to get here by the end of the week coming up.
Not much fire danger right now, at least on I-70. Of course, we do have some wet roads to deal with up that way. You can still see some snow up here on some of the peaks there in Silverthorne, so I-70 is wet. The crow came at us. It's Highway 6, looks a little bit wet, but yeah, birds are attacking now the cameras up in the mountains.
There's a movie about that. Many families are struggling to afford childcare, so new this morning how your boss might be able to help you cut the cost.
Plus, one of the state's most beautiful sites was devastated by mudslides last summer. We have a new timeline, though, for when you'll be able to visit Hanging Lake again.